Wyclef Jean, BKS1 Radio. Let's go.
This is Essence Atkins, and this is BKS1 Radio.
Hi, this is Melba Moore, and you're listening to BKS1 Radio.
Yo, check it out. What's the deal? This the chef. Giving a big shout out to my peoples. Big KS, you already know what it is. Salute.
What's up? It's your girl Monifa, and I'm hanging with BKS1 Radio.
Hi, I'm Iyanla Van Zandt, and you're listening to BKS1 Radio.
BKS Radio, baby.
Hey, this is Jasmine Guy for BKS1 Radio.
What's going on? This is Lamont Rooker, and this is BKS1 Radio.
Shout out to BKS1, the best kept damn secret in the business.
Hey, what's up? This is Raven Goodwin from BET's Being Mary Jane, and shout out to BKS1.
Hi, this is Leon, and you're watching BKS1 Radio.
BKS1. God bless y'all.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It is your girl, Latoya Shanielle, and I'm here. I'm back on the OWWHH Show. This is Outstanding Women Who Help Heal, and I am back in studio, and I'm very, very, very happy to be here. We are going to get to where I've been and what's been going on lately in a minute, but I just want to say hello. Hello to everybody. Hello to everybody that's coming in. Hello to everybody who's watching live, whether you're watching from my personal Facebook page or the OWWHH Show page. Actually, if you're listening on the TuneIn app, hello and welcome. Or if you're watching via YouTube live, hello and welcome. And I need to welcome an additional audience now, everybody, because we are officially on Spotify. I'm going to go ahead and clap that up. Hold on. Let me give y'all some audience effect here. There we go. Yes, I'm clapping up BKS1 Radio officially being on Spotify. So again, we aren't live on Spotify right now, but we will be uploaded to Spotify in the next couple of days, so you can always go back and listen to an episode whenever you want to. Of course, you could always do that on YouTube, or if you were searching on Facebook and you just wanted to go back and get to an older show, you could do that. But now, if you listen to Spotify regularly, which I hope you do with all kinds of podcasts, whether it be educational or informational or entertainment purpose, whatever it is you're listening to, add me into that. Why not, right? There's also other amazing shows right here on BKS1 Radio that you can listen to as well. So why not just add all of us in? You don't have to listen to just my show. You can listen to a number of the shows that are on here. They're shows 7 days a week. We are filling up. We are doing big things right here on BKS1 Radio. So you want to be here. You want to be listening to this. So again, I am welcoming my Spotify audience. And because I'm welcoming my Spotify audience, I feel it's great in this episode for me to officially reintroduce myself, reintroduce the OWWHH Show, give you all the premise on what the OWWHH Show is about, what we've done here over the years. I'll give you a little bit of history. I'm not going to go on and on with that because I'm sure you don't want to hear that. But just a little bit of the history since I have been on here because the OWWHH Show actually predates me. This was not my idea like most people think, and everybody thinks, oh, this is just Latoya's show for those that know me, but it's not. The OWWHH Show predates me and was the brainchild of a lot of people before me, like years before me. Yes, I've been doing this for some years now, but it goes back way before I joined the BKS1 Radio family. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and reintroduce the show and the premise and what we're about here. So I guess I'll do that now. So Outstanding Women Who Help Heal was actually once Only Women Wear High Heels, right? So I started on the show when it was Only Women Wear High Heels, and it was a panel of fabulous women. This is, again, way back before me. A panel of fabulous women who used to come on and talk about any and everything, different genres, hip-hop culture, any kind of culture, fashion, whatever it is, and you would get the opinion of 5 brilliant women who would come on and talk about life from their perspective. Over the years, everybody went on to do great and amazing things. Some people went off to Hollywood to act. Some people went off, started their own shows at other radio stations. Other people just went off and did different things in their lives because maybe entertainment just wasn't for them, right? So I came on, I think, how many years ago? Jeff, how many years ago did I get here? How long ago was it? A long time, right? So about 7-8 years ago. Oh, and I'm yelling at Jeff. So Jeff is my producer in the other room. So y'all are going to hear me talk to him from time to time for our Spotify listeners who are new to this. But I came on about 7 or 8 years ago as a part of the panel, kind of jumped right in, got my feet wet, and things started flying from there. It definitely wasn't all smooth sailing because anytime you're doing something for the first time, you know, there's some learning curves. There's always going to be ups. There's always going to be downs. There's always going to be pitfalls. But as things continued to move forward, I kind of ended up being the last man standing. Not because I was the strongest or the smartest or the most brilliant, but just because that's just life and that's just how things happen, right? So I ended up being one of the last people here on the show. So I began to kind of produce the show myself. So station owner and official non-biological brother and family of mine, Norm, said, you know what, Toya, go ahead, take the show, do what you will with it. And from that moment on, I began producing the content, producing the shows. And I like the fact that I could use the show and the station as a platform to do things outside of here. So we started having, I think our first event was a speed dating event that was in February. I can't even tell you what year that was because it was many, many moons ago. But our first event was a speed dating event that we had. And from there, we kind of progressed to having poetry events, which was my show partner. That's Miss Queen B. I wanted to have a poetry event. We had our first one of those. We ended up having forums, different forums, discussing topics with relationships in the Black community. And we eventually had our own women's conference. I wish you guys were in studio with me. One of the women's conference posters is right up here on the wall. It was the Women's Empowerment Conference, which was a joy to put together. And it was actually extremely successful for it to be our first one. We had 4 speakers talking about things from all different perspectives, all different business avenues, and just how to succeed, how to get ahead, and just your mindset, right? And so we also had a number of vendors that showed up and showed out. We were right downtown Newark on Halsey. And it was an extremely successful event. Unfortunately, after that, the pandemic happened. And kind of shut down everything. As a matter of fact, we were in the process of planning another event. We were selling tickets for another event when the pandemic happened. We were going to be doing a Mars Venus event. I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen some of the history of our Mars Venus events, where we'd have a panel of men and women who would come on, and we would throw out a question, throw out a topic, and we would have at it. And to be very honest with you, those were some of the most fun shows and events that we have done, because you got to hear things from so many different perspectives. It wasn't just women's perspectives and men's perspective, but men who had just so many different life experiences and would come with how they thought things should be, and women from so many different walks of life would just come with how they felt like dating and relationships and marriages and longevity and what that was made of and what it should be. So again, those are some of my most famous memories and events that we had in the past. And I actually miss doing those. I don't know, where the world is opening back up. I'm not sure if people, I know they're going out to concerts and stuff, because y'all know that's my 9 to 5. So I know they're going out to concerts and stuff, but events and things like that, I don't know if we should bring those back or not. I don't know if people are starting to come back out to those or not, and if people are having successful events with stuff like that, or if people are still leery. I'm not sure, but I'll think about it. Maybe we'll start putting some of those things together. In the meantime, with all the success that we had from our events, like I said, the pandemic happened and we went straight virtual. Now, of course, the show is virtual now and you are watching virtually, but we were really just doing everything from home. We weren't in studio at all. So everybody had their own home studio with backdrops and microphones and different things. And it carried us a long way. And that's when, that whole Zoom area came about. And, we were interviewing guests on Zoom, which, a lot of news stations are still doing now. A lot of their interviews are not in-person interviews. And I'm not sure that we'll go back to 100% in-person interviews anymore. I truly believe that this is the wave of the future. A lot of podcasts are doing interviews via Zoom. You have a few that are getting back in person, and kudos to them, getting people in studio. I feel like that's a great thing, and I love that face-to-face interaction. But I do think the Zoom interviews are okay too. And again, like I said, probably the wave of the future. But we kind of struggled getting back up post-pandemic, and now here we are. So I'm back in studio. We kind of did a few things as of last year, and I'm getting there, people. I'm getting there. I'm getting to everything that has gone on, because one of the premises of this show between my show partner Queen Bee and I was always that we were extremely transparent, and I'm going to get into all of that in a second. But I came back in studio, kind of struggled a bit. My show partner had some amazing things happen in her life where she was able to move on and do some things that she really wanted to do. Now, my basis is entertainment, and I have worked in entertainment for the last decade or so. So I just want you all to know, being here in studio, doing the show, the interviews, is all a part of what I do. So this is why this makes sense for me, right? But for my show partner, who is a nurse at heart, and she's an oratorical speaker, awarded oratorical speaker. However, her path in life has led to somewhere different, led to somewhere else. And she is doing everything that she loves. And I am proud of her and talk to her every single day. And I'm proud of every single thing that she's doing in her life. You guys I think you saw on the show where we planned a surprise engagement for her. That was 2 years ago now, maybe 3 years ago now. We had a surprise engagement for her, and then we had her wedding, and she has a new family. She's happy. She's moved. She's got a completely different and new life now, and we congratulate her, and we love her for it. And we're happy, and hopefully she gets a time or a chance or a moment to check in with us from time to time. I'm gonna get on her about that because I know y'all want to hear from her, and hopefully she can come on and chime in with a few things in the future. But right now, you got me. It's just me, y'all. It's going to be me, and it's going to be Latoya Shanielle for everyone who watched on Facebook, everyone who watched on YouTube, everyone who watched on the TuneIn app, and for our brand new Spotify audience. You got me. It's your girl, Latoya Shanielle, right here on the Owl Show. And we're going to be doing some big things. We're going to be incorporating some of the things that we used to do. And we're going to be doing some new things moving forward with the show. So I hope you guys stick around. And I hope you guys like where we're going with this. And I hope you guys love what we're doing. So the premise of our show, when we changed our name from Only Women Wear High Heels to Outstanding Women Who Help Heal, because we don't live in a world where only women wear high heels anymore. So the title of the show was completely outdated, and we could not carry that forth because it's not in truth. And we like to be in truth here. We like to be transparent here. We like to be honest here on this show, because that's the point, right? That's the point of healing. That's the point of this show, is to talk about us as a people, talk about our culture, talk about all the things that go on in it, whether it's the tough conversations, which I really like having the tough conversations. And that's tough conversations about us as a people moving forward, finances, relationships, mental health. Whew. Mental health, wellness. I love having those tough conversations, because those are the things that as a people that we seem to graze over, right? Nobody wants to talk about that. That's the stuff that, oh no, just be strong and keep moving forward, put on a tough face and keep going, is kind of the culture that we come from. But we're finding a shift in that, right? We're finding a shift where you better sit down and talk to somebody. You better sit down and get it out. You better sit down and unpack all the things that you have been through, some of the things you're currently going through, and get some kind of perspective on it moving forward. You don't got to be all religious. You don't got to be all spiritual. I mean, everybody knows that I am. Well, maybe some of you know that I am, because maybe that's the side of me a lot of you don't get to see. Guess I got to get better with that, right? I'll come back to that. But you don't got to be all religious. You don't got to be all spiritual, but you do need to get into the spirit of wellness, because that's a part of the tough conversations. In the meantime, we talk about that and healing and relearning some of the things that we held to be our truth, and dissecting that, and why it's important to dissect those things and be able to move forward with a different and better version of you in life, right? So we changed the name to Outstanding Women Who Help Heal, because it was imperative to make sure we were having the tough conversations and bringing guests on to have those tough conversations that we weren't having. You know, there's that statement that everybody loves to spew out, which I think at this point in my life, as I get older, is hilarious. You hear people say, when you know better, you do better. I think now we know that is not true. There's a number of us that know better, but will not do better, because we're programmed, conditioned, and nurtured to do differently. No matter how we feel about it, we may know we shouldn't make certain decisions, treat people certain ways, treat ourselves certain ways, and yet we still do it. Why is that? Why is that? Because knowing better is not necessarily doing better, right? We're going to come back to that too, because, you know, I'm definitely going to have some experts, because, you know, just listening to me is great. I think so anyway, but y'all may not agree with me. But I'm definitely going to have some experts, guests that are on the show, and we'll begin to unpack the psychology behind that a bit more. Some of the faces will be from people that you have seen before. Why? Because they're just friends of the family, and you don't just give up on friends of the family just because you decided you started anew. In our culture, what's that called? Just acting brand new. You know, we're not going to do that over here on the Owl Show. We're not going to act brand new. Those who have rode with us the entire time, the entire duration that we've been on air, we're going to keep, you know, having some of those people come back. Why? Because as we have grown, they have grown too. So it's not that they have lost any knowledge. They're continuing to grow. They are with the times right now, and they can continue to pour into us. They can continue to give us some wisdom and some pearls as to what it is that we should be doing. So they'll be right here too. They'll be right here. I don't know if they're going to be in studio. I don't know if they're going to be on Zoom, but you'll see them. You'll see them. So in the meantime, because I'm getting off point just talking to y'all, so y'all better excuse me. So in the meantime, we changed the title of the show to Outstanding Women Who Help Heal because why? As a culture, as a people, healing is what we need to do. For all those who have watched the show in the past, I'm sure you've heard me talk about what other cultures do and why we do it differently and how it's not the way we are doing things as a people. 9 times out of 10, it isn't serving us, right? It just keeps perpetuating these false myths that we have about how things should be done. And it's really setting us back as a people. So we kind of always prided ourselves. And when I say we, I'm talking about me and, my show partner, Miss Queen B. We prided ourselves on having those tough conversations and bringing those conversations to light so that we can begin the healing process. So that was always the premise of our show. However, 2022 happened. And I know for a lot of people, it was 2020 for them or 2021 for them. No. I kind of got through the pandemic a bit unscathed, right? Everything was shut down. I still had a job the entire time. I still had some peace of mind the entire time. And I was able to keep going with the show, just kind of shifted gears, shifted business models at work, shifted whatever it is I needed to do, and just kind of kept going. I actually grew some things. For all of you, my 9 to 5, I started doing interviews there too. So I incorporated what I do here into what I do there. And I got to interview a number of big names who were kind and gracious enough to allow me to ask them a few questions about their life and their journey and things they've done. And shout out to Mr. Anthony Hamilton. Shout out to Redman. Shout out to Brenda K. Starr. Shout out to Denise Williams. Shout out to just a number of the people that I got to interview over the pandemic, the time where I was right there in my home office, and I got to connect with a number of big names who have been successful at what it is they do. So again, 2020 and 2021 weren't necessarily bad years for me, but 2022 happened and completely turned my life all the way around. So for those who are watching, not just listening, so if you're watching on TuneIn or if you're watching on Spotify, you all see me wipe my nose and everything a lot. I don't have a habit. I'm making a joke out of that. I do not have a habit, people, but I am. I do have a number of allergies, and so it's definitely not COVID or anything more, because you know how our people get. But that's all it is. But in the meantime, 2022 happened, and I'm gonna be very transparent with you all. My mother fell ill. And when I say fell ill, I'm going to say completely fell out ill and literally went out right in front of me. And I'm being very transparent with you all right here on camera, right here on the show right now, right in front of me in the middle of the family room floor, in front of everybody. And it completely turned my life upside down, turned my career upside down, turned my relationships upside down, turned how I saw life, the trajectory of my life upside down. And it's something I've been dealing with and struggling. She's still here by the grace of God, dealing with and struggling ever since, right? So for me, I'm a creative. I'm a creative by trade. I'm a creative 9 to 5. I'm a creative here in producing shows and giving you all content. And I'm sure you can imagine how that completely zapped any and all creativity that I may have had. How I was able to put together events and performances and shows, and just the questions I would ask on shows, and who I would get to come on shows, all of it, production wise. You know, anybody that's a producer knows all the behind the scenes and everything that goes on and all that you have to do just for a 30-minute or even 30-second segment. So it zapped all of that. It changed everything. It changed me. And that's why I wasn't here. That's why I wasn't here virtually. That's why I wasn't here in studio. And I'm going to be more transparent and more honest with you because I've been talking to Norm, who I said, is the owner of the station in my big bro, and just talking about coming back to the show because I really wasn't sure that I wanted to do this anymore. I wasn't sure that I had anything to give to it, to be completely and brutally honest with you. Maybe I shouldn't be so honest, but to be completely and brutally honest with you, I wasn't sure that I had anything to give, and I'll go into why in a minute. So that happened, and my life was upside down. I spent the bulk of 2022 in nursing homes. I spent the bulk of 2022 in hospitals, in ICU, in CCU, in the regular hospital format, back and forth. And then eventually by September, I became a full-time caretaker. I don't say that lightly because anyone who has ever been a full-time caretaker for anyone in their lives knows that it's not just a job. It's not just, something that you do. It becomes your life. I had to pause for effect there. What do they say in the Bible? Selah. It literally became my life. And in doing so, there were a lot of areas that suffered. So it wasn't that I just wasn't here and I wasn't just doing the show. I wasn't at work. I wasn't able to move forward in my career effectively because I had to go. I had to be in ICU. I had to sit in ICU. And that's not just a physical space, that is a mental and emotional space because the toll that it takes on you is immeasurable. And it's not something that you can even explain, It's like becoming a parent. You can't tell people what it's like to be a parent. They may think they know because, they got nieces or nephews or what have you, or babysat, or I don't know, they got fur babies or whatever. But there's nothing like becoming a parent than being a parent. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. And so becoming a caretaker, there's absolutely nothing like it than being a caretaker. I've had the privilege of connecting with others who are also caretakers currently, and the support that we give each other is necessary. It's completely necessary. So I wasn't here. I wasn't doing the show. Work was suffering because, at that point, it had to. Relationships. Whoo, child. Y'all know I don't be crying. Although, and ladies, whoever's watching, that's a female. What is this over 40 thing that you just cry over everything? Is it me? Is this hormones? What is it? I have literally been a G and known to be a G my entire life. I could go through hell and back. Y'all, are y'all listening to me? I could go through hell and back. I don't care what it was. Keep a straight face. Find some kind of grounding to stand on with it and not shed one tear. What is this now? Now, fellas, y'all might not be able to relate to me, but ladies, now I could watch a commercial and be like, I don't know. I was literally watching Vampire Diaries. It's an inside joke for all those who know me personally because I've literally just that's my life right now. And for all who don't know, Vampire Diaries is a show that used to come on. It's not on air anymore. They have 8 seasons, like 21 episodes a season, and I literally binge watch that. Why? Because it's mindless TV, and it is what it is. But anyway, I could watch an episode of vampires and freaking werewolves and literally be sitting on my bed or in the living room tearing up, crying about stuff. What is that about? I don't know, but I do not like it. Anyway, so I was getting to the point of relationship suffering, because it wasn't only the show that was suffering, and it wasn't only my job that was suffering in the wake of my mother's circumstances, but relationships too, relationships with friends, romantic relationships, relationships with family, also began to suffer. Why? Because who I needed to become to be able to take all of this on, and who I needed to be to take all of this on was a very different person than who I was. Also, the mental and emotional anguish of having to become someone different, right? Changes you. It changes you. It changes who you are. It changes what you're able to give, and it changes who you are in other people's lives. And not everyone is able to deal with that. And don't get me wrong. There is nothing wrong with them for not being able to deal with that. It's just, I kind of hate that statement. It is what it is, right? But in my situation, and for others who have gone through this the same way that I have, it kind of just is what it is. You know, who you have to become to survive through this is different than who you are. So going through those down periods, going through I don't claim depression, but going through a depressed state as you don't know what's going on in your life on a day-to-day basis is heavy. It's heavy. You know, crying all the time and suffering all the time and trying to make things better all the time changes you. And y'all know I've always been transparent on this show, so I'm being uber transparent right now, and I'm going to get to why in a second. Not only because it's my truth, but you know that's how it's always been on this show. So I'm not keeping that from you. So you guys know why I haven't been consistent on the show. But yeah, it changes you. So over the last year, almost to the date, this is what I've been going through. So the decline of my mother's health, the loss of relationships and friendships, the struggling to stay on point at work, the lack of creativity, where anyone who really knows me personally has always been able to call me and say, Toya, I have an idea about this. And within seconds, I would be able to run it down. Okay, boom. You need to do this, and this. You go about it doing it like this, and this. What you need to do is contact this person. I'll give you the number. Then email this person. Then make sure you're learning how to do this. I mean seconds. I could run it down. All of that stopped. Because my focus was how to transition into this new role that I took on, and then eventually how to maintain me. I'm going to use that as a segue. So how to maintain me is where I am now. And to be very honest with you, it's kind of all I got to give right now. So I'm definitely not going to transition the show just to talk about me and my issues, right? Because y'all know I don't do that. But the focus of the show now will be the healing journey, right? We transitioned a while ago to outstanding women who help heal, and we were all about healing everybody else and having the tough conversations. But now I'm on a journey of self-healing, Now I'm on a journey of self-awareness. Now I'm on a journey of, and I'm not saying that I didn't do these things before, but I'm just bringing that to you just live front and center, that where I am right now is a wellness journey. And I want to share that with you all. And hopefully, and I don't know what's going on in your lives in particular, but if there is an area where you need some assistance, or you're on a journey yourself, hopefully my path and my journey, because I have a platform to be able to do this, hopefully it sheds some light on something that you're going through and it's able to help you as well. Again, am I going to be sitting and talking about myself week after week? Absolutely not. But I will be having guests on the show who are going to shed some light on a number of different issues. So, of course, we're going to be talking about health and wellness. Of course, we're going to be talking about mental health, right? So I'll have a number of therapists who will be coming on, but we're also going to continue on with the entertainment aspect with my guests and what's going on with them. We'll also continue to talk about everything from fashion to mortgages and our finances and how we can still be better as a people and decisions that we need to make. But my focus now is what it is that we need to know. Right? So not only the journey, but what it is we need to know, what it is that I need to know on this journey, what's imperative for me to be able to move forward, what's imperative for me to be able to heal, and what's imperative for you to be able to heal. I have a comment here in the chat. Aisha, hey, Aisha. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. Aisha said, you're going to be more intentional in your healing. Absolutely. Me being more intentional in my healing hopefully helps someone else, right? What's that saying everybody says? If I can help somebody, if I can reach somebody, even if it's just one somebody, then that makes what I'm doing relevant. That makes what I'm doing important, and it gives what I'm doing some purpose. So going back to the conversation that I had with Norm. So after starting to try to get some perspective, because believe you me, I am not at a place where I can be like, oh, I'm healed, I've come through. Absolutely not. No. No. I am still going through on a daily basis. And so I was having a conversation with Norm the other day, who you guys know is the owner of the radio station, and like I said, is truly has truly become family for me. And I was talking about, should I even continue to do this? What is it that I have to give? It's funny, right? Because right before the show, I was talking with Jeff, who's my producer, who you all will hear me yell to every now and again. And I was talking to him about, those people on social media, my girl, bestie, Queen Bee, who was on the show with me. Queen Bee is one of those people, and I'm sure you know these people, or you're one of these people yourself. Queen Bee could, I just lost the earring, y'all. We're live. It happens. Queen Bee could get on social media, and I don't care what outlet it is. She can get on Instagram. She can get on Facebook. She can get on Twitter. She could get on Snapchat. She could get on TikTok. She did get on TikTok and go viral multiple times. She could get on any social outlet known to man. And I swear to you, she could get on and say boo. Literally B-O-O. That girl could get on, type boo, and everybody and their mother would like it or have a comment. Like it or have a comment. Girl, you got on and said boo. What you mean by boo? Are you talking about boo, or are you scaring somebody? She could have a back and forth. She could have a whole dialogue about boo, and people would just completely be engaged. They would be DMing her. Her boo comment would go viral, and everybody would love it, right? And I would sit back, watch it, marvel, and just be like, I wish I had that capability. However, that ain't me. And as much as I talk on here, as much as from an entertainment aspect as I can produce a great show and I do things behind the scenes, as a matter of fact, in every single profession I have, it's me doing things behind the scenes, whether it's my 9 to 5, whether it's me working with Nonstop Show Group, shout out to them, shout out to Lamar and the team, or whether it's me helping to produce Queen City Film Festival behind the scenes. I'm usually always behind the camera, and I can pretty much do a lot of this with my eyes closed for other people behind the camera. But this is my only outlet where I am out in the forefront. And I'm not one of those people where I can get on social media and say boo and compete and people are completely engaged, right? And so I was having a moment while thinking about coming back and doing the show. And I was having a moment where I was like, for what? Do people care? Like, what's the point? Are people even listening at this point? Do people even care? Do people care what I have to say? Do people even care about my perspective at all? And I got to a point where I got really, really down about that. And I am being extremely transparent with you today. I got to a point where I said, are people even concerned? Do they care? Does anybody want to hear this? Is anybody even listening? I mean, honestly, what's the point? I've been doing it for so long now. What's the point of moving forward? And I really was in a process where I was just going to give everything up. And I was having a conversation with someone one day, and they were I was having a conversation with my mentor one day because I was just trying to find some direction as to where to go, and I mean just across the board with everything that was going on, because actually one of my mentors has been in the exact same boat taking care of a family member that I had been in, and she was saying, Toya, you got to keep going. Toya, you have to keep going. And sometimes you got to tell yourself that you have to keep going no matter what it is and no matter what it looks like. And it's something as simple as that we kind of take those words for granted because these are things that we are supposed to know. Let me use my fingers here, quote unquote, know, right? You're supposed to know that you're supposed to keep going. But it's a lot easier to say and a lot harder to do when it's you and when circumstances hit you that you never thought would hit you before. And so I was talking to her and she said, why aren't you going back to your show? And I had to think to myself, I said, oh, did you watch my show? As esteemed as my mentor is and all the things she's done, she travels the world, she writes books, that she's one of those people that she can open her mouth and people literally fall out, pass out, and it's like a Michael Jackson concert because of the things that she said. She's one of those people. And she said, yeah, I absolutely do. And I'm like, wow, okay, it's interesting. I had a conversation with another coach of mine who said to me in the midst of the conversation, I was talking about relationships with this particular coach. And, I was just talking about how relationships change and life changes and some relationships you keep and some relationships you lose in the midst of some of the biggest things that go on in your life. And, he was like, well, are you still doing the show? I'm like, why does everybody keep asking me about this show? And I'm like, no. I'm like, clearly I'm not still doing the show. Creativity is in the trash right now. I can't come up with anything. No, I'm not doing the show. He was like, well, you should go back and do your show. I'm like, what is this? All of a sudden, everybody wants me to continue to do this show. I'm like, what is this about? So I was having a conversation with a family member of mine. Who I know was an avid watcher. And then she said to me, she was like, Toya, I missed the show. And I was like, all right, Lord, that was the third time. Okay. That was the third time, literally, I think in a week time span. And I was like, ugh. I've been talking to you about if I should continue on to do this show. It hasn't had the success that I've wanted to have. It hasn't done what I wanted to do. But in a time period where I'm gone from doing it, people are literally asking me about it. And whether it's the masses or just a few people, that have been in my corner, maybe they all see something in it that I wasn't seeing at the time, right? And so I got to the point where I said to myself, all right, Toya, do it again. Do it again. And do it again. And as Norm said, do it again from where you are right now and share your journey. Shout out to my sister-in-law who actually has a show called Sharing Your Journey Media. That's Sean Dawson. And shout out to her. But Norm said, do it again and share where you are right now because there's power in that. Share what you're going through right now because there is healing in that for you. And so here I am sharing my healing journey and all the gory details of it with you because healing ain't pretty. Right? Healing ain't pretty. Healing don't go how you think it should go. Healing don't go how you want it to go. And healing don't go as planned. So you can drink as much water as you want to drink. You can do as much exercise as you want to do. And I am doing exercise. It is a part of my healing. I have been back in the gym heavy. Summer's in 90 days. Hopefully y'all get a different body this year. Ow. But that is honestly just for me. Being at the gym is for me. But healing isn't just going to the gym. Healing isn't just drinking enough water. Healing isn't just eating the right foods. Healing isn't just those daily affirmations. Healing isn't just going to therapy. Healing is all of those things. And all of those things, in all of those things, it does not go as planned. You're going to have days where you're going to sit and you're going to be crying. You have those days where you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have those days where what it is you're dealing with is going to get hard. It's going to get hard and it's going to look like you're not coming out of it. And it's going to look like nothing you want it to look like. It's going to look like it's teamed too much. It's going to look like I can't deal with this today. It's going to look like days where you just need to stay on the couch. It's going to look like days where you just need to stay in bed. It's going to look like days where you can't talk to anyone because you don't have anything for them. And I don't care who it is. It's going to look like days where you want to give more to yourself and you don't even have it. Forget other people. Forget other people. It's going to look like days where you're going to want to do more for you and you can't. It's going to look like days where you want to get a haircut. You want to get your nails done. You want to go out and laugh. You want to go out and have that drink. You want to go have that cigar. You want to go and just have a good time and you physically cannot lift yourself up to do it. But that's all a part of the healing. That is all a part of the healing. That's all a part of the things that I have been through in these last 365 days. And for me, it's not over yet. So what I'm saying is that if it's not over yet for you, if you haven't come to the other side of this yet either, then tune into the show. Y'all like how I did that segue? Tune into the show on a weekly basis because hopefully we can do this together. Why? Because I need support. Because I need support. That's the selfish part of me, right? Because I need support. And I'm here if you need support. We going through it together, and so we are going on this healing journey together. We are going to go down this path together and the beauty of it and the ugliness of it and ciphering through all that's going on in our heads, ciphering through all that's going on in our bodies. And I say bodies because being down and being up and all of that, and sometimes the sharp highs and the sharp lows, that affects your body. That affects you physically. That heaviness that weighs on you, it affects you physically. It's not just mental and emotional heaviness. That becomes physical heaviness too, right? All of us are trying to get to a better place. All of us are trying to go on this healing journey. Me and you. And my hope is that we can do all of this together. And as I bring the guests in, because we will have guests, we will have some days that are more lighthearted than others. So please don't think, oh my God, let me tune into this show or let me not tune into this show because I don't want to deal with a bunch of depressing-ish, because it's not going to be that, y'all. It's not going to be that. Or let me listen to this girl talk about herself and what she going through for an hour. Like this is her personal vlog or video diary. It's not going to be that either, y'all. It's not. On this healing journey, the purpose is as I'm being transparent with you, hopefully it touches something in you. And the purpose is, again, if I can help someone else by sharing what I'm going through, then my journey isn't in vain. Then God, whoever it is you believe in, the creator, the universe, the aliens, science, monkeys, I don't know, whatever it is that people believe in, the hope is that the creator has a purpose, and whatever I'm going through isn't in vain because it is being used to help others. And I just so happen through Norm, through Trish, through Jeff here at BKS1 Radio, I just so happen to have a platform to be able to share it. And I'm going to give myself a little kudos and a pat on the back, too. I just so happen to have the courage, yes, I said courage, to be able to share it. Because everybody don't be sharing all their business and everything that they going through. And I 100% get why. But everybody doesn't do that. And as a people, we are taught not to do that. We are taught to put on a face, and we are taught to put on a strong face, and we are taught to just get through it, put on a smile, put on some toughness, and go. And I'm going to say, especially as black women, and fellas, this does not exclude you. I'm just going based off of my experiences as being a black woman and as being a mother. We just keep going. Sometimes to our own demise, we just keep going, right? So here on the show, I want to make sure that on this healing journey, I'm instituting shows where I'm getting what I need to get out of it. So I'm using this for my purposes, and you all are getting something out of it too. So come on this healing journey with me, y'all. Every week, every Tuesday from 7 to 8 o'clock right here on BKS1 Radio. You can watch it live on Facebook, the Owl Show page, and I also share it to my personal page if you're a friend of mine. And you can also watch it on YouTube. Just go to BKS1 Radio TV and watch it live on YouTube. If you're listening, because some of us at work, some of us are cooking dinner, some of us have families, some of us are just chilling and hopefully in a bathtub with some eucalyptus leaves and a good book and a drink. I don't know. But you can listen to us live on the TuneIn app. And for my new audience, everybody who's going to be listening to this on Spotify, you can go back and listen to us after the show has aired. So, again, come along on this healing journey with me. So for everybody who has been talking to me in the chat, because I definitely want to make sure that I address you all, because you guys have been talking to me while I was running my mouth for this last hour. So Lucretia, hey, Cretia! So Lucretia said, you have a purpose and have a message that people need to hear. Thank you, sis. Thank you. I appreciate that, and I accept that on this journey. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. She said third time is a charm. Hopefully. Yes. And Aisha said, being authentically you will inspire those who witness your God-given power. Ooh. Thank you, sis. Your good days and your bad days are your truth, and both matter. They absolutely do. They are all a part of it. Hey, Aubrey. Aubrey is sending me some hearts. So shout out to you, Aubrey, who is watching the show. I love you all, everybody who put something in the comments in the chat for me today. Love you all. For all those who are watching on YouTube Live, I can't get to your comments if you're making any, but I'm going to find a way to be able to multitask and do that, because y'all know that's what I do, so that I can get to your comments and the Facebook comments as well. In the meantime, it's been an hour. I have literally talked for an entire hour. And I'm sure y'all are tired of me, and I need to go home and have some tea and have one of those baths like I just talked about a minute ago. But in the meantime, Jeff, I'm about to end the show. But in the meantime, I love you guys for watching. I love you guys for listening. And I am back, and my hope is to be consistent with my shows every single Tuesday right here on BKS1 Radio at 7 p.m. I love you all, and God willing, I will see you all next week, same time, same place. Talk to you soon.